Ladies and gentlemen, may I just begin by thanking you for giving me this opportunity to speak on the occasion of the 40th anniversary of the World Heritage Convention. I'm only so sorry that I cannot be with you in person, as the topics you will be discussing over the next few days have been close to my heart for a very long time. For many years, I've tried to highlight the danger to our most precious and fragile landscapes if traditional practices disappear. It can take less than a generation for skills and knowledge handed down from one generation to the next to be lost forever, which is why I am delighted to hear of the ambitious project to create a Traditional Knowledge World Bank, since this idea recognizes just how important traditional approaches and practices are. Funnily enough, I tried very hard, I suppose it must be some 25 years ago now, to raise interest in exactly this kind of initiative. But in those days, nobody could see the point of what I was trying to get at. Any mention of the word traditional, and you tend to be written off as old-fashioned, out of touch, and irrelevant. Traditional knowledge and practice, however, hand on to the new generation a vital understanding or effective skill which have been tried and tested for centuries. Traditional knowledge is therefore very much forward-looking. You might even call it visionary. It is a kind of long-term insurance policy. That is why I believe traditional knowledge to be of such critical importance, and why its loss would be such a disaster. In a world where the Earth's natural capital, things like water, soil, and biological diversity, not to mention our cultural heritage, are under such constant exponential threat, as much by a general ignorance of the existing wealth of natural resources and traditional knowledge as by their physical depletion, a conference such as this can only bolster our understanding and appreciation of our international heritage and its importance. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as you're all no doubt aware, the emphasis of the UNESCO World Heritage Convention has shifted since it started life 40 years ago. It has grown from an initial focus on the protection of monuments to a much broader agenda that includes historical centers of importance and areas of environmental consequence. Personally, I find it enormously encouraging that the convention recognizes the need to protect landscapes, not only because of their intrinsic cultural importance, but also because of the ability of these areas to sustain traditional knowledge and practice, which I feel we are going to need so desperately. But once such practices are lost, as I say, they are not easily regained, and the ability of rural communities to exercise their vital function as the guardians of our landscapes, both past and future, is diminished. It seems to me that technical innovation can benefit enormously from a much better awareness of traditional knowledge. I've found time and again that these tried and tested approaches and techniques have so much to teach us, and they can be adapted using today's technical advances to make a real difference to the way we go about things. In many fields, they can contribute hugely to sustainable, environmentally sound methods. In other words, they can help create a blend of the best of the old and the best of the new. It is for this reason that I am delighted to hear of the proposals and steps already taken to create the Traditional Knowledge World Bank, a wiki-like system on the internet that will be an interactive tool for participants. The first stage can really be seen as a kind of international census of knowledge, a massive undertaking to which I can only offer my wholehearted support. Now, the reason I have long been such an advocate of the Earth's vital ecosystems and the diversity of human heritage is because they are of immense economic value, apart from anything else. They offer the prospect of generating a great deal of income in the future, especially for those who depend upon rural incomes. These could see substantial increases in value, but this will only be possible, and possible in the long term, if we manage to strike the right balance between economic returns and the preservation of sustainable social and ecological systems. For me, this is one of the most pressing concerns for our international leaders, especially in today's very uncertain economic climate. At the moment, all too often, it is the case that much of today's progress is causing ecosystems to fragment and, in some cases, draw close to collapse. And as they do so, many landscapes are destroyed. The international conventions and directives, such as those drawn up by UNESCO and the Council of Europe, are absolutely critical. Getting everyone to comply with them is, alas, frequently problematic. There are many reasons for this, but one of the most important is a general lack in understanding of the importance of what is at stake. I believe that a key role of the traditional Knowledge World Bank will be to encourage this necessary understanding and to make society aware of the long-term impact of so much ill-thought-out exploitation of our natural capital and perhaps bring it to a halt. To do so, we must invoke the active support of the public and the private sectors more widely. And this starts with a common vision and local mobilization, things that can only be brought about by education. There are many initiatives that could be launched to help preserve and benefit the landscape, things like agri-environmental schemes, water resource management schemes, tourist promotion, produce marketing networks, legislation to safeguard the environment, education and technical innovation. But let us not forget what we already have. Traditional village customs that have persisted for generations have ensured a balance between mankind and nature, but these are increasingly being swamped by the increases in population and the ever-present demand for growth and for economic advancement. Romania, a country I have long taken a particular interest in, is a prime example of a place where there is a great opportunity to develop a sustainable approach, supported by effective controls. In fact, it could become a leading example of natural resource management. I'm therefore deeply encouraged to know that there are plans to establish very soon the Romanian Centre for Local and Traditional Knowledge. Ladies and gentlemen, the presentations and discussions in which you will all participate over the next 2 days will cover a multitude of topics that are part of the worldwide UNESCO program. I can only pray that you enjoy continued success in your work. I'm sure it will make a vital contribution to the efforts worldwide to safeguard the Earth's natural capital. And I cannot stress enough that nothing could be more important for the future well-being of our children and grandchildren.